The dream of the big polygamist family is just shot. They have all betrayed me.
He is sabotaging our relationship.
I'm out of my mind.
I feel like the idiot that got left behind.
Okay, as promised, I wanted to talk about the teaser trailer that dropped on Instagram. This is the second trailer, or at least part of it, that Instagram dropped. I think the first trailer was like 2-3 minutes almost. This trailer is only about 30 seconds. So you got a kind of a sizzle trailer. But I wanted to address it because I think that there's some interesting points and things to look forward to in the upcoming season, especially with relationship to Kody and Robin and how they deal with each other, as well as how they're coping with the rest of the family moving on. Now, Robin and Kody seem to be stuck on the idea of reshaping their image. They're stuck on this feeling that they can, if we say it enough, and if we can just show the fans that we miss these family members and we want to go back to where we were and to what we had, then all of a sudden people will understand that we're not the bad guys that you think we are. Robin can sit there and say in glory and triumph that she's not the one that broke up the family because she wanted the family to stay together. So that's the whole feeling of this trailer and kind of things to come. In their minds, I think that if we could turn that corner, we would be on their side. That if they can convince us that they didn't want the family to break up, that they actually want to go back and they want things to be the way they were, that we would look at them with fonder eyes. Then, of course, once they have our sympathy, they could go to TLC, show them the new approval ratings from the fans, and then demand a spinoff show where they can go and continue their feeling of superiority over the OG3 as well as the OG13. And then, of course, continue to ignore them and pretend like they're just existing on their happy little island, existing without any other family members. So we're not falling for that, or at least I'm not. And I'm pretty sure that many of the fans who watch the show will not.
What did I do to deserve this? What did I do wrong?
12 seconds later.
Blame yourself if I don't love you, okay?
Settle down, Johnny Appleseed.
What did I do wrong? Like I said before, they've been repeating this mantra like a bad joke. I miss them. I want them. Why'd they leave? He keeps repeating the punchline like we don't get it. I get it. You miss them, you want them, you wish it didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. It's just that I don't feel bad for you because at the end of the day, I remember the setup for the joke. Your punchline is, oh, I want them back. But I remember what you did to drive them away. You can miss me with the whole, I miss them, I want them, I need them, I don't know why they left. What does he miss exactly? Because I think that's a big question. When he talks so much about how much he misses them, the bigger question is, what exactly does he miss? He misses the companionship, the worship. And if we go to Dark James, welcome to the dark side. He misses the access to their finances. He misses the illusion that he has multiple homes. Bottom line, he misses their stuff. And we're not talking about turkeys, the sweet or savory or whatever. Early on, he demonstrated his lack of understanding of personal property.
Here's the funny thing about a mother. What's hers is mine and what is mine is mine. Because she'll give me anything that she's got. So this is my mom's breakfast. And she's so sweet.
And we have to always keep in mind that at the time of, season 19 shooting, he didn't have access to all the things that they had been acquiring. And he has no sense of ownership over the things that they are acquiring. Let's start with Christine, Robin and Kody's favorite punching bag. That whole debacle over her house.
If I'm going to sell my house,
I'm going to keep the proceeds from selling my house and put it towards the next house that I purchase.
The problem here, Christine, is that it is our house. The family actually bought this house. It's not your house, it's our house.
I've been making every payment on this house, every one. So no, I won't be giving him any of the money from the sale of my house.
He was more upset about her selling the house than her leaving. He was so pressed about losing Christine's house that he started a whole fight and a whole ass argument with Janelle because she didn't want to buy Christine's house. Then we have the question of Mary. See, I have a very different perspective and I have an interesting theory about what soured his relationship with Mary. People assume that it was the catfish incident that soured Mary and Kody's relationship. But my question is, what happened and what opened her up for the catfish situation? It was how he was treating her. It wasn't just that he had divorced her and, she lost her identity as the legal wife, which he had carried for almost 30 years. And the fact that he was, kind of loose ignoring her over at the house. But there was something else that occurred during that time. What could be the factor in him pulling away? Her purchase of that bed and breakfast / real estate purchase. He didn't want her to buy it. That's very clear. Because in the early on, she came to the family and asked for the money to partner with her so that she could purchase the home. But see, the very interesting part of it was when she was even talking about the family contributing money to purchase the home, what was she saying? She was saying, I want you guys to help me buy my ancestral home. The home that my great-great-grandfather built or whoever. Somebody in her family had built the house and she wanted to acquire the house. Now, with that type of ownership, she would have a specific and special type of ownership over that property. Kody couldn't come in and force her to sell it or put liens on it because she would see that as her house, her property, her separate house, her separate property, especially since they had started talking about this whole idea of leaving a legacy and what is your what is your inheritance going to look like and what are you going to leave your kids? Since they started doing that and cutting the property lines up pretty deep, thank you, Robin, all of a sudden, she was looking at that house as this is going to be my house. This is going to be my property. And it would have been very hard for Kody to try to negotiate with his way into that property. Then, of course, we have Janelle, and when she had scooped that new apartment. Remember, she went from the rental home. She had 2 rental homes. Then she went to a trailer. Then she went to a small student apartment that Kody had complained about and didn't want to go visit. He didn't want to see her in the trailer because he didn't like that. He didn't feel like it was nice enough for him to be out there on Coyote Pass with her. Then he didn't want to go over to the apartment because he felt that the apartment was beneath him because it was too small. Then all of a sudden she gets this nice, big, brand new apartment. Now let's take a look at Kody as he comes in and first sees the apartment.
Wow, pretty cool place.
It's a lot bigger, huh?
Oh, look at this. This kitchen's awesome.
I think it's better than anything I've had probably in Flagstaff so far. Go look at the bathroom.
Wow, it's huge compared to what other stuff we've had. That's amazing. Totally. Wow.
Now, if you listen to what she said, this is the nicest place I've had in Flagstaff. By myself, all alone, standing in the cut, getting ready, by myself, got my own back. That's what she was saying. Then, of course, Kody was in the other side of that conversation, and this dude was speaking French. And I don't mean the fun kind. He was speaking the wee French. That what we doing, this is nice for us. Didn't put any money on nothing. But he took the position that this was going to be his home too. And he was so amazed at how big and beautiful the apartment was. Ironically, of the OG3, Janelle is the person he actually had a chance to reconcile with. Part of the reason reconciliation doesn't work is because none of it involves taking Janelle into consideration. It's all about how he feels and how the separation is affecting him. She has the good sense to recognize that if he isn't putting in the effort to consider you now, when he wants you, then when he gets you, he isn't going to start taking you into consideration. If he ain't doing it when he's trying to get you a favor, he's damn sure not going to do it once he got you. So you might as well just call it what it is, call the game, and pack your bags and go. And by the by, the consideration was a major reason for the breakup in the first place. As we speak of consideration, with Robin's house for sale, we finally have an opportunity where we can see inside the home. We can see like the paintings and the decor, and some people don't necessarily care for the decor. But regardless of what you think of the wallpaper, the house is still a big place and on a decent sized lot. Imagine being Janelle going over to the house to visit her money while she squeezed into a rental with her 3 kids. Imagine how they felt watching someone else's happily ever after. Then, when she tries to talk about getting something for her and her kids, she's told that they don't have it. As Kody is looking at his new Rolex watch standing under Robin's latest art acquisition. Then, on their way back to the rental trailer or the apartment, or the house, they get to pass a driveway full of cars that she helped pay for. Even with Christine, he doesn't miss the companionship. He misses the kid wrangling event planner. The man who loves to be the center of the attention and the life of the party, he misses his party planner. Now, to kind of focus in a little bit, from a mental health standpoint, if you care about Kody, you need to go over and check on your boy. Okay, because he's down bad. Like, this is jacked up, but Robin is probably not a good companion for him in this instance. Now, some people are going to say she's not a good companion at all, but in this particular case, she doesn't necessarily have the tools, I don't think, or at least she doesn't demonstrate it on the show, that she has the tools to be able to help him through this crisis. She lives and thrives in the realm of victimhood. That's her neighborhood, okay? And she's circling that block like the ice cream truck. She has shown him all the ways in which he's been wronged and how he can see enemies everywhere he looks. So everybody he looks at and everybody he comes across is an enemy and out to get him, and is rooting deeply in his psyche as a sense of paranoia and distrust and loneliness. And a lot of that is because that's how she lives her life. That's where her power is. That's where she survives and thrives in her existence, even in the family. This type of mentality is definitely not good for somebody in a compromised state of mind. Like, if we look back to season 2, when Janelle was sitting there talking to Robin, this is what she had to say.
When I first saw how Robin ran your relationship with Kody, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this helpless, playing the helpless damsel and wanting Kody to do these things for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like, all in all, Kody feels alone. And this is a big problem. So much of his self-identity wasn't just being a husband and a father, but the center of so many people's universe. Women and children begged for his presence. He thought he was too good for them, so he took their love for granted. He's like an old-time celebrity that doesn't realize that they aren't famous anymore. I used to sell out arenas. Well, now you can't even book the neighborhood dive bar for an open mic. If we break it down in common terms, he's like the high school athlete who's trying to relive his glory days. In life, you can look back, but you can't go back. You are where you are, and you can only move forward. In Kody's case, he's no longer the man who has these women begging to spend time with him. He's no longer the man who can quiet a room because his kids are desperate for his time and attention. He only saw and understood them as they related to him. He didn't appreciate their individuality and humanity. And that's a big problem because Kody never bridged the gap where he is, in his experience, just as he is more than just his father's son, his kids and his wives are more than NPCs in your game of life. And for those who don't know, NPCs are non-playable characters in video games, the ones that don't have any autonomy. They just basically there for a purpose. Hey, Joe, hey, I'm always here doing nothing, waiting for you to come in. And when you show up, that's when I come to life and do whatever you need me to do. That's an NPC character. He neglected and respected and nurtured those relationships, so he doesn't have them anymore. A recurring theme song in his personal pity party is, I want to go back. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. There are 5 stages of grief. Shock and denial. In his wildest dreams, he couldn't believe they would disrupt his world by leaving, and he cannot accept the reality that they are gone. Number 2, anger. We see plenty of this throughout the seasons, especially from season 13, 14, 15, we see him nothing but angry and frustrated and pissed off. And then once the wives started leaving because he was so miserable, then he really kicked his anger into high gear. Number 3, bargaining. Now he's willing to listen. Now he's willing to talk. Now he's willing to go see a counselor. This whole application of how he's approaching the relationships actually reminds me of torture. And the concept of torture. See, when you're torturing somebody, you don't, the tortured person's reason for talking is not to tell you the truth. The tortured person's reason for talking is to stop the pain, stop the torture. So he's hurt right now and he wants the pain to stop. If they come back, it's back to the salt mines and back to the old routine. He's just going to be right back to where he was before the breakdown of the family. And it'll be wash, rinse, repeat. And that's probably what they had been doing for a number of years. Depression, that's number 4. He feels depressed. The feelings of emptiness, sadness, and isolation, this is where Robin wants him. Because the crazy part is, vulnerable and easily manipulated. When people are alone, isolated, depressed, and they feel bad on themselves, it's easier for you to start to trick and play around in their mind and their perception of the world around them. And this is where she was able to manipulate and take advantage of a lot of the things that he wanted. So she would sit and talk and turn him against everybody. And this is when she was speaking at Kody, because she was turning him against everybody and telling him how this one is against him and this one is back talking him and this one is backsliding. This is why you need to buy me more stuff. And this is why you need to come over and spend more time with me and my kids, because we love you. We understand you. Come on over here and be with us. And that's where it is. And that's where she was able to take advantage of him. So she was actually capitalizing on the fact of his depression. And this is something that has been seeded. And this seed is actually starting to blossom now. And that's what we're seeing as it causes a fracture in the relationships as the seeds and the seeds germinate and take root. It causes a fracture in his relationships, and as those relationships start to fall away and get strangled and choked out by his feeling of animosity, then she's able to capitalize more and more and build off that feeling until ultimately the relationships fall away and you are where you are now. Acceptance, that's number 5. This is the part where you don't feel good about the loss. Just realize that the loss is your new reality. This is where you are. And clearly he hasn't accepted anything. He hasn't come to number 5. So watching him from the outside, it just seems like he's got the pity party soundtrack 1 through 4 on repeat. And every season, it turns into the outrageous greatest hits. Like, I'm so outraged. I can't believe this happened. This is so wrong. They treat me so bad. Wash, rinse, repeat. Let's play it again, Sam. Now, this is my take. Let me know what you guys think down below. Leave a comment. Leave your takes. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up and support the channel. This is My Take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality. And I'm out. 'Cause I've been living